Hey, this is Mrs. Cheney. We're going to paint some Christmas ornaments as a first little exercise that we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink my face, let you know that I'm still here. But what we're going to be looking at is Christmas ornaments. I want you to choose one of the various images on this slideshow that I'm going to share with you of Christmas ornaments. You can pick from any of these. There are some that are paintings. There are some that are photographs. Some of them have awesome compositions where they're zoomed in, and some have a lot of detail and various ones that you can choose from. Or, of course, you can get on the internet and find one. It is completely up to you, okay? There's a photograph. You can paint from a painting, from a photo. You can even get your own Christmas ornaments if you have bulbs at home that you can lay out. That would be awesome. I don't care about color. I do want you to at least paint one. Okay, so I'm going to move myself over to the side. This is my reference photo over here that I'm going to be painting from. And then over here on the side is where I'm going to do my painting. And I've got my lid here on my paints. Okay, I'm going to take that out. And this is canvas paper that I have. I'm going to hold it here under the camera. I'm going to fold it in half. You're going to notice that one side is like a linen, the other side is primed. You're going to fold it in half, okay, and I'm going to cut it in half, pair of scissors, okay. Then I'm going to take half of the half, so I have two halves, okay. Put my palette out of the way. I got a lot of weird glare on this table. So I cut it in half. Now I'm going to take one and throw it aside, and I'm going to take this half, and I'm going to cut it again, so that I have a fourth of a piece of paper. I don't know what size canvas papers you have. I'm afraid that I might have given some of you some long and thin ones. And if I did, and when you fold them in half, they look really narrow, use what you've got, okay? Maybe don't cut them into fourths, just cut it in half then. It is completely up to you. I don't know what size this is, about 4 by 5 inches or so. I am going to take this green background because I really like under the camera how that shows up. And I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to tape it down to my green background. Do not tape it on a table, okay? It'll ruin your furniture. You can do it on a piece of scrap paper, a piece of newspaper. It really doesn't matter. An old wooden board, a piece of poster board, the back of a canvas panel might work. It is completely up to you, okay? I like mine taped down because it doesn't move on me when I'm painting. And then when I pull this tape off, I've got really crisp, clean edges. And I think that looks nice. Okay. I have my container of water here. I use a sour cream container. And my paints, they are sitting beside me. So I'm going to grab one of my big paintbrushes. And I'm going to start with just some washes. Okay. I do what's called an underpainting first. I always use browns. I'm going to take some water, put it on my palette. You can tell I have a spot here that I do my underpainting with all the time. So I'm going to put that spot there. I'm going to pull some umber down. That'd be your chocolatey brown color. I do put a little burnt sienna in it. If you don't have burnt sienna, you can add red. You could add anything as long as it's a brown, okay? You could add a little blue to it, whatever you want to do. You're making it soupy, like, I don't know what consistency that is. If you find that you put too much water, then you can add more paint. If you put too much paint, you can add more water. And you're going to run a wash over your entire piece of canvas. Never, ever, ever do a painting on just plain white. I know that we did that on our cupcakes. We were under a very hard situation where I couldn't help you at home. And it was really, really difficult. I'm starting to get some glare. And I was worried about the situation of hybrid and online and all that kind of stuff and trying to get us caught up because I felt like, all we've done is a paint exercise and some cupcakes. So come on, get them to draw at home. So I had you draw it at home. You should have toned your paper first and drawn on top of the toned paper or painted in with the paint. Okay? I'm afraid we've got a funky glare going on. That's a little better. I still see it right there with the lights. Okay, now I'm looking at my reference photo. My reference photo honestly is square, so I probably should have pulled my tape up a little higher. We're going to ignore it, I guess, and we're just going to make a little more on the bottom. Now I'm going to take that same brown, okay? And I'm going to make it with less paint. A little bit of water, but less paint, more, with less water and more paint, okay? I'm going to have a little bit there. I'm going to grab a round brush, one that is a little bit smaller that I can control, okay? I'm going to pencil in my composition with this brown. So when I look at my mouse here, I've got this green ball here, and right across from it's another green. But I have to fit these two in. The red one's on top of the green, and the gold one is behind the green. So I'm going to block them in. I'm going to do one here. Okay, I'm not worried about a perfect circle right now. And one here. And one here. And I'm going to do one there. Okay, so that's my composition. I'm happy with that. If I'm not happy with it, this is what's so cool about it, is I can wipe it back out. Okay, ta-da, magic of television. Okay, let's do it again. I was happy with it. One there. One there. One there. One there. Mine's going to be a little closer, my green one. Now I'm going to go in and clean up my lines a little better. My problem is my paint is a little wet, so I'm going to blow dry this real quick. So I'm going to pause this video and blow dry it, and I'll be back to you. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I gave it a zap with my blow dryer because what was happening is I was starting to paint these spheres in here, and they just kept bleeding away because my background was way too wet. So my tape's coming off now. I'm going to pencil them back in again, and now it won't bleed on me. Draw them a little bit darker because they just totally faded away. There's my circle, and my other circle is going to be about there. Okay, so that is where I am putting in my bulbs. Okay, I see a weird, funky little red mark here. Honestly, I think it's this bulb reflecting on it, and then this red bulb is reflecting here, and then this green one is reflecting here, and here's another green one. Maybe that's that one. There's some really funky colors. But over here in this corner, you can see the little thing with the hook, and then there's one here. So I'm going to draw those in. I'm really unhappy with my composition. I probably should have gone square with this. Maybe I'll just cut this when I'm done. Who knows? Okay. I think I've got it drawn in now. Some cool little stuff, little rufflies and whatnot. Okay. Now we're going to go with the background. The background is my favorite color, teal. So going to my palette, I'm going to flip this around so that you can see my blues and greens because I'm not going to use the browns so much. And I'm going to do my mixing up here. So I'm going to flip to a flat brush. I prefer painting with flat. I only use the round brushes to do my general penciling in. So I need some blue, and it looks like I need some green, and I definitely need some white. And I'm going to mix myself a background color. Notice my palette is far from clean. It's from other paintings. I think that is too bright. We're going to pull some brown into it. We're going to dirty it up. We're going to tone it down. Still not dirty enough. Put a little more brown in there. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay, so there's one value of it. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to add more white. My white is really getting contaminated over here. I'm going to do a lighter version of the same color. Because when I look at my picture over here, I've got light and I've got dark as well. So I'm going to pencil it in, or I'm going to paint in my background. I love it that the brush strokes show. Yeah, I really need to do some cropping on this composition. Painting in the background. I'm running out of paint. Let's mix some more. And I'm going to start to put the darks in. I'm finding that my dark isn't quite dark enough. Now, I don't worry about getting it on the ornaments. I know that I will be painting my ornaments in later. Now, when I look at it, I've got some shadows, okay? I've got light, I've got medium, and I've got darks. So I think first, I think this is going to be my medium. It looks really bright under the camera. And then I'm going to go in and put some more bright. I'm going to brighten mine up a little bit. I've got a bright mark there. I'm not blending. This is called direct painting method. Like I paint directly on it and leave it. Okay, very impressionistic. Where else have I got some bright? Down here, you can't see it under my face over there. And there. I'm going to put some light in. Got to make my background interesting, otherwise it's kind of boring. Okay, now we need more dark. I'm going to mix more blues, more greens, and I'm going to go with more dark. That's a little greener, but I like it. Okay, doesn't have to look exactly like my reference photo, but I am using it as a guide. Where else have I got dark? All right, and I think I got to mix darker yet. A little brown. Whoop, too much brown. There we go. Now I got a funky green going on. I look at my reference photo a lot. This bulb needs to be moved up. Just go with it. Okay, because it looks like the light is coming from this top left corner and it's streaming down. So the light is hitting the bulbs here, here, and here, and then the shadows are coming down from there. Okay. Kind of play with my background until I like it. It's kind of small, it doesn't take very long. Medium in there. Okay, I'm gonna wash off my brush. Okay, now we're gonna go with the bulb farthest away from us. That's that gold colored one. My bulbs are pretty small. I like to paint with flat brushes, so I'm just going to flip to a flat brush that is smaller so I can have a little more control. Do I have one in my water? Heck no, of course not. Digging around my table, sorry. Gotta find me a smaller brush. Okay, I'm back. I also grabbed some paper towels. So, sorry about all these interruptions. Tell I'm not a YouTuber. Okay, we're going to go with the background. The bulb in the background is a gold color. All right, so I'm going to take this yellow ochre. I'm going to put a little brown in it. Make me a gold. Man, does that look orange under the camera. I look up and it's like, oh wee. Go with a bit of white. Okay. So I've got my light, I've got my dark. Light, my medium. And my dark would have the color, the same color, but have brown in it. Wash my brush. I always make a light, medium, and dark of everything. There's my yellow, ochre. That's looking green. Some of this color. And so I'm going to tackle this bulb back here. Okay, I think I do need to go with my smaller brush. All right, so it's got the light here, all around that edge. Okay, so it's got light here. All painting is observing. And it's got some medium in here. Dark. Some funky colors. All right, we're going to put some of that medium gold in there too. And then I noticed that there is some light right here. I'm going to zoom in with my camera. Horrible glare. Okay, and then I've got that triangular shape right here. My gold is a little wet. I may have to come back to it. Yeah. And there's a little light here on this little bulb thing there, where it plugs into the wire. There is dark here. There is red here, reflecting that bulb. There is green. I don't know what green I want to use yet. I think this darker green. There is green here. It's kind of weird. I gotta play with it. Okay. Now, of course, I have a little white spot on there, and there's some other funky things going on. But for the most part, I have it blocked in. Now, this is a photograph, so I don't really know what all is reflecting in the bulb, but I know something is, like stuff in the background. You have to let that dry a little bit. I'm getting there. I would need a really fine brush to do the wire there. Then I would move on to my green bulbs. I would probably paint both at the same time and then do my red one last. I will take a photo of this. I know you don't want to keep watching me paint. That's boring, but always knowing painting from back to front. I wish you could see the color difference. It is unreal. Under my camera, when I take a photo, you'll see that it is tremendously darker. But I don't know. I like bright colors, so I'm fine with it. See you soon.